My husband started acting super controlling, and now he wants me to wear a tracker. I'm leaving before he gets back from his work trip. I'm 29F, and I've been married to my husband, Alex, 30M, for about 7 months now. We met during our freshman year of college and started off as friends before eventually getting married. While I've always gotten along with his family, we've never been super close, just friendly enough. But lately, things have changed, and Alex has started making me feel really uncomfortable. It all began with him constantly asking where I was going, who I was meeting, what we were doing, and how long I'd be out whenever I left the house without him. At first, I thought he was just being a protective partner, keeping an eye on me in case something happened. But then, he started checking my phone after each outing, researching and vetting all of my friends. It didn't stop there. He's also been pressuring me to link my bank account to his, even though he was fine with keeping them separate before. Now, we fight about it almost every day. And then, things took an even worse turn yesterday when he was preparing to leave for a 2-week work trip to California. He demanded that I wear a tracker while he's gone so he can monitor me. That was the last straw. I feel like I'm suffocating, and his family isn't helping. They just say he's being protective, like a good husband should. I've made up my mind. I need to leave before he gets back. He's always said that if he ever found out I was cheating, he'd file for divorce immediately. He even has pre-filled divorce papers sitting in his desk. I'm planning to submit those the day I leave, but there's so much to do. I need to find a new place to live, see if my job has any available transfers, and pack up everything all within 2 weeks, before he returns on May 11th. I'm posting here because I don't have close family, and I can't risk involving my friends since Alex and I share the same circle. I just need a place to vent and ask if anyone has any advice on how to do this safely and quickly. Edit. You all are incredible. I never even thought about not using his divorce papers. I'm going to check for cameras before I start packing or preparing. I might shred his papers and get a lawyer of my own. Thankfully, I'm in a no-fault divorce state, which should help. I'll wear the tracker unless I'm doing something related to my leaving. No pets yet, so at least there's that small relief. I'll update again when I know more. Update 1. 2 days later. I've received a lot of support, helpful advice, and some questions that I wanted to clarify before updating everyone. Some people asked why I'd be hiding things from Alex about where I'm going or who I'm meeting. The truth is, I don't hide anything, and I have nothing to hide. The problem started when Alex began double-checking everything I told him, down to asking the other people who were there what we talked about. He would ask if I sent any texts, if I ordered food, how much I ate. It got really intrusive. It wasn't always like this, but it has slowly gotten worse over time, and now it feels like I'm being cornered. As for privacy concerns, I'm not too worried about Alex's family finding this post. The Reddit subs they're involved in are all gardening and DIY, so it's unlikely they'll come across this. And by the time they do, I hope I'll already be gone. I spoke to my manager about what's going on, and they're looking into possible job openings in other states for me. I should have an update on that in 3 days. Thankfully, I trust my bank account is secure. Alex has tried to access it before and failed. Unfortunately, I found 3 cameras hidden in the house. One in the kitchen, one in the living room, and another in our bedroom. I've left them where they are for now and only do any planning in the bathroom, pretending I'm taking a bath. I'm avoiding domestic violence services for help because my sister-in-law volunteers there, and if I went, I have a strong feeling they'd find out immediately. I can't start looking for apartments until I know more from my job, but even if I don't get an opening, I'm still planning to leave the state. The day before I go, I'll change my phone carrier and wipe all of my and Alex's electronics. I've met with 2 lawyers so far to review the divorce papers Alex prepared. Both lawyers pointed out some clauses that could have caused problems for me, especially those dealing with future children, which weren't hypothetical. Based on those, I suspect he planned to get me pregnant to trap me even further. There are 3 locations my job might transfer me to, so I've started researching housing in all 3 cities as a precaution. If nothing opens up, I'll quit, move, and figure things out on my own. I have enough saved up to live for a few months until I find another job. Unfortunately, all of our friends are mutual, and I doubt they'd understand the consequences if they shared anything I said with Alex. I don't have any close family left, and relying on my in-laws is obviously out of the question. So I'm on my own, aside from the amazing support I've found here. I'll update again when I have more information or if anything major happens. Otherwise, the next update will be when I hear back from work. My plan is still to leave before Alex gets back. just to be sure I'm not here when he returns. Update 2, 1 day later. Good news. My job has found a position for me that not only moves me across the country, but also comes with a salary increase. I've started telling my in-laws and friends that I'm planning a surprise outing for Alex when he returns so that no one gets suspicious if they see me running errands or packing up. I even asked my mother-in-law to show me some of his favorite recipes to keep the story believable. Meanwhile, I found a small moving company that's willing to work during a storm. The reason that's important is because in 5 days, a big storm is supposed to hit. I'm planning to shut off the breaker and claim we lost power if Alex asks, just as some people here suggested. I'll even send him a short video of the storm as proof. I plan to have everything moved out that afternoon, and I'll fly out as soon as the weather clears enough. I've hired a lawyer to push the divorce through, and I've filled out the necessary paperwork so that I don't need to be here for it. I'm not going after any assets or alimony, and I've shredded Alex's pre-filled divorce papers. I've also set up a cheap prepaid phone through Cricket for the time being, and after everything is done, I'll switch to a new carrier, phone number, and phone altogether. My current phone is getting wiped and left behind. Thankfully, my work laptop was checked by it and is clean, so I'll take that with me. Other than my laptop and new phone, no other electronics are coming with me. If Alex needs to contact me, he'll have to do it through my lawyer. I really hope he doesn't realize something's wrong until after I'm gone, and I'm not turning the breaker back on when I leave. He can deal with that when he gets home. At least the plane ticket is covered by work, so that's one expense I don't have to worry about. Update 3, 7 days later. It's been a busy week, but I've managed to get so much done. I'm now officially out of the house and staying in a hotel while I search for an apartment. It's a big city, always buzzing with people no matter where you go. Back home, a storm system hit pretty hard and lasted 2 days with strong winds, thunder, lightning, and even hail. I didn't take much from the house, just my important documents, clothes, and a few sentimental items. I left all the furniture and electronics behind. Before I left, I cleaned the entire house from top to bottom and took photos to make sure he couldn't accuse me of damaging anything. My lawyer has already started the divorce process, and my husband will be served on the 8th. His flight is scheduled to land early that morning, and the sheriff will be waiting at the house to serve him. He's all about public appearances, so my lawyer will also call him to let him know that I'm more than willing to expose everything he's done if it means securing my freedom. I'm ready to go to court for as long as it takes to make this divorce happen. I haven't told our friends or his family yet. I plan to do that while he's on the flight, so there's no chance of him finding out before the papers are in his hands. I'm going to explain the situation to everyone, just to prevent him from twisting it into being my fault. I know he might try to claim I had an affair or something, so I want to get the truth out before he can. I'm tired, but I feel jittery and a little off balance. I keep looking over my shoulder and being careful about what I say, even though I know I don't have to anymore. Hopefully, that feeling fades soon. Luckily, my work is covering the cost of the hotel, and I'm working on getting everything else in order. I also need to find a new doctor and get a full checkup to make sure everything is okay. I don't know when I'll have another update, probably when the divorce papers are officially filed, or if we need to go to court. I'm trying to stay positive, but it feels like I'm in the middle of a whirlwind with so much to do and think about. I thought it would be easier once I left the house, but even though the fear has lessened, it seems like the number of tasks has only grown. Update 4, 7 days later. Sorry I haven't updated in a while, things have been a bit hectic and chaotic. First off, I'm still in the process of getting an apartment and have applications in at 3 different places. Hopefully, I'll hear back from them soon. Thankfully, I'm going into work at my new location, so I don't have to worry about burning through my emergency savings just yet. I've also been flooded with emails from Alex, his family, and our old friend group, asking question after question. I only sent one response to Alex, explaining that I don't think we're truly compatible and that it's best for us to separate now. I told him that his treatment of me, when I'd done nothing to deserve it, was just as much a deal breaker for me as cheating was for him. I ended the email by saying that I wouldn't be contacting him further and that anything else he needed to pass on should go through my lawyer. For his family and friends, I typed up one email explaining everything that happened and why I left. I made it clear that I didn't hold any ill will toward them, but that the way they had allowed Alex to treat his wife was unacceptable. I wished them well and said that if Alex remarried in the future, I hoped they would support both partners, not just him. According to my lawyer, Alex was furious when he was served. The sheriff had to book him for assault and menacing after he started shouting threats. His father bailed him out within a few hours, but with the sheriff's testimony, my lawyer believes we have a good chance of getting a restraining order. When Alex got back to the house, he apparently lost his temper again. He broke the dining table, the TV, and put several holes in the walls. One of our mutual friends told me about this after Alex called him for help cleaning up the mess. Luckily, I had taken pictures of the house before leaving, and they're time-stamped, showing that nothing was damaged when I left. My friend also told me Alex tried to claim I trashed the place, but with the holes being at head height and Alex being 6'3", while I'm 5'4", it was obvious that wasn't true. I'm so glad I took those photos, and I can't thank everyone enough for that advice because I wouldn't have thought of it myself. As for my job, they won't share any details about where I am, as I work with high-end clientele who value security. So even if Alex tries to find me through my work, he won't succeed. And no, I'm not a stripper or escort. I work with contracts, notary services, and business management. Update 5, 12 days later. It's been a little while, so I thought I'd answer a few questions before giving my update. It might be some time before things change again. First off, no, I didn't bring my car. The public transportation here is good enough that I don't really need one. I've secured an apartment with solid security. There's a key card required to enter, and a security guard stationed at the front desk. As part of the lease agreement, I gave them photos of Alex and his family, so if they ever do find me, they won't be allowed in. I got mixed responses to the emails I sent. His family thinks I'm overreacting and says I owe Alex an apology for the trouble I've caused him. With the criminal charges pending, he could lose his job if convicted. Alex himself sent a long, emotional email apologizing and begging me to come home. He said he's willing to go to therapy if it'll help me feel better. He claims his actions were out of genuine concern for my safety and didn't think leaving was the right response to that. Our friends were lukewarm in their replies, saying they didn't believe Alex would ever hurt me and that I shouldn't let my imagination get the best of me. Honestly, I wasn't too surprised by the lack of support. Alex intends to fight the divorce, but I'm letting my lawyer handle that. I'm also pursuing a protective order. Once I got approved for my apartment, I froze my credit, changed my phone carrier and number, and made sure none of my documents list Alex as next of kin or power of attorney. Some people have asked why I've been so cautious about Alex and what he might do. The answer is pretty simple: my grandmother. I loved her dearly, and when I was a teenager, she explained why my grandfather was never around. He was abusive and manipulative, and back in her day, divorce wasn't really an option. She couldn't have bought a house or found a decent job to support her and my mom, so she endured it until he passed. I think about her a lot, and when I start to question whether I'm overreacting, I remember how she always wished she'd seen my grandfather for who he was early on, before it was too late to leave. I'm not sure when I'll update again, maybe when the divorce goes through or if something significant happens. For now, I'm just trying to keep my head above water. Update 6, 1 month later. It's been a month since my last update, so I thought I'd share what's been happening. The divorce is moving forward, but since Alex isn't agreeing, I have to go through the courts to get it finalized. Even though I'm not claiming any property, alimony, or compensation, it could still take up to 6 months to push it through. I just want a clean break. Alex has been trying to reach out to me through our mutual friends because he doesn't want to communicate through my lawyer. He says it's disrespectful and cowardly to hide behind legal representation instead of meeting him face to face. He also sent a letter through my lawyer, but it was just him justifying his actions, claiming that he was only trying to protect me because it's dangerous for women to be alone these days. He expressed hurt that I would lie to him about being unhappy and leave without telling him. I didn't respond because at no point did he apologize. He just turned everything around, accusing me of being dramatic and cowardly. Along with his letter, I received one from my sister-in-law. That letter was disturbing. It actually confirmed why I avoided reaching out to her in a professional capacity. She spent 5 paragraphs explaining what a real abusive relationship looks like, claiming Alex was the furthest thing from abusive. She mentioned financial and physical abuse, but nothing like what Alex had done. She even said that by smearing her brother's name, I was the abuser. I haven't really processed that yet. A part of me wonders if she's right. I did leave without warning, and I refused to speak with him at all. My old boss suggested I get into therapy after the move, and I think that's something I need to look into. It's been hard adjusting to being on my own. I'm constantly censoring myself and haven't even gone out to eat yet. I keep worrying about what might happen if someone sees me or if I spend money on something unnecessary. My lawyer is still working on the divorce, and thankfully, I won't have to appear in court. Any meetings with the judge can be done over Zoom. I'm trying to avoid any confrontation with Alex and his family, and I've handed both letters to my lawyer in case we need them. Most of our friends are still sitting on the fence, and I'm reaching the point where I might just let them go too. I'm tired of trying to get them to understand. There might not be any major updates until mid-November, depending on how long this process takes. Work is going well, and it's been a helpful anchor with everything else changing so much. New update, divorce proceeding update. It's been a while since my last update, as I had to let the court handle things since Alex refused to grant my divorce request. We started with mediated sessions via Zoom, but after 4 sessions, it was clear that no compromise would be reached. The demands Alex was making were completely out of line, and I wasn't even willing to entertain them. He wanted me to tell our friends and the people I'd shared the truth with that I made everything up just to gain sympathy. He also wanted me to pay him for defamation, emotional suffering, and the wages he lost from being in jail for 2 days before getting bailed out. And on top of that, he wanted me to return home and, to quote him, "stop my foolish behavior and act like a proper wife and partner." Yeah, no. So, unsurprisingly, our mediated sessions went absolutely nowhere. Thankfully, the judge didn't buy into Alex's act at all. I mean, it took me far too long to see Alex for who he really is, and I still feel like an idiot for not realizing sooner. But the judge, they saw through him right away. Alex ended up arguing with the judge constantly, and he was even held in contempt 4 different times. I think that's honestly why things moved as quickly as they did. It didn't help that Alex tried to bring his family in as character witnesses, but the judge dismissed them, saying they weren't witnesses to the abuse and only knew part of Alex's character. In the judge's closing statement, after approving the divorce, they called Alex a narcissist and said that if Alex loved himself so much, he should marry a mirror instead of abusing the person he was supposed to love. I didn't think judges could say things like that, but my lawyer just shook his head and told me to stay quiet, so we left. So, here's the update I'm sure everyone's been waiting for. I'm officially divorced. The papers were processed 3 days ago, and I'm still in disbelief. I have no contact with Alex anymore, and I definitely don't want any. I've decided not to give our mutual friends my new contact information. I might not have replied to everyone, but I read all your comments. Your reminders that they weren't really friends helped me realize the same. So, since I moved far away, I decided it was time for a fresh start, new home, new surroundings, new friends. It's a slow process, but I've started therapy, even though it took nearly 3 months to get in due to the waitlist. I've been going 3 times a week, and it's helping, even with things I thought I had already dealt with. Alex, unsurprisingly, didn't take the divorce well, according to my lawyer, who's keeping tabs to ensure he stays away. Apparently, Alex did something at work, though I don't know what exactly, but whatever it was, it cost him his job. And here's something I didn't expect. My lawyer took the letter my ex-Sil sent me and forwarded it to the domestic violence organization she worked for, along with a formal statement about Alex, his actions, and the judge's ruling. She's been let go too, and since these organizations tend to be tightly connected, my lawyer says her chances of getting another job in the field are slim to none. I actually laughed, though I got a little teary when he told me that, adding that Slim is on a leaky rowboat to China. I've been crying a lot lately, but my therapist says that's normal and means I'm processing things instead of bottling them up. I'll try to update again in a month or so, once my emotions settle a bit. I just wanted to get this out there and thank you all for your ongoing support and encouragement. I appreciate every single one of you. You gave me hope that leaving Alex wouldn't be a giant black mark I'd never recover from. Work is going well, and the sense of routine is helping me avoid feeling like everything is spiraling out of control.